video and do it a little different before I closed it off. I can actually shrink this back down. But we have a big show to come on this episode of Raw, so I didn't want to miss another episode because the last episode that I missed was SmackDown, and it was a pissed off Rhino calling out Vince McMahon because Vince McMahon put him on notice during the last episode of SmackDown with a warning to get his behavior in check. Otherwise, there would be consequences. And Rhino didn't take too kindly to that, goring the boss, goring the chairman of the board to end Thursday Night SmackDown. And Paul Heyman looked extremely worried that his United States champion just gored or just hit his finisher on the boss of the company. So deservedly so, he's a little bit worried. Deservedly so, he's a little bit worried. But by now, y'all would have been able to see the videos having to do with setting the foundation of this season and setting the foundation of just everything in general. By that I mean, the main crux of 2004 and the remaining 2 months or the remaining month and a half is trying to rebuild WWE. And that is exactly what that is the only thing that we are trying to do, is rebuild WWE. We have nothing else that we want to do outside of rebuilding the company. It doesn't matter what we do, if we rebuild the company, that's what matters. That's what counts. That's our only goal and the only thing we want to do. Simple as that. Plus, we are less than a week or around a week away from Survivor Series, so we got a big plan in place for the Survivor Series pay-per-view, which I will get to either at the end of this video or in the next one. We'll get to it in this one because I don't really think I don't know what I'm going to do the next one, unless it's Survivor Series. But this is the plan for Survivor Series, or the mini layout for Survivor Series right now, which is the reason why the Damaja cost Tommy Dreamer his match against Rob Conway. Rob Van Dam gets a title shot against Randy Orton. Kurt Angle defends in a four-way with John Cena, Big Show, and Eddie Guerrero, with John Cena having the overarching story connecting the story together of can Cena win the big one. The Undertaker and Abyss is the one match that has been planned out for the last couple of months. Actually, I may readjust that because I may readjust that because I kind of penciled in Chavo Guerrero versus Abyss for the pay-per-view. So maybe we'll do the first Undertaker Abyss meeting on SmackDown. Maybe we'll do it that way. Or maybe I'll adjust it, push it back, and have the headline match at WrestleMania instead of, maybe do Armageddon and then have Taker return. Well, he wouldn't return because he didn't return to WrestleMania this year either. He returned at No Way Out. I don't know. Taker's a delicate situation. Taker's a delicate situation. In my opinion, Taker's a bit of a delicate situation. Wait. I wanted to include somebody else, but not him. I wanted to include him. Because Luke Gallows is Rene Dupree's bodyguard. Road Warrior Animal is not his bodyguard. hoping to never let it go, and the fact is, he will. The fact is, he will. Because well, that's kind of the point of the feud. But Coachman brings in Triple H and Chase and informs them that Chase wasn't the one behind helping Randy Orton. It was somebody else. As the last couple of weeks, Chase Stevens has been blamed for helping Randy Orton win the WWE Championship, and Chase Stevens has been claiming it wasn't him. You know, Chase has been claiming the last couple of weeks it wasn't him, and, well, basically, people didn't believe him. For lack of a better word, people didn't believe him because of the fact that he's the one that helped, he's the one that helped Triple H win the title in the first place. So it's like, you want me to believe that it wasn't you that helped Randy Orton, but it was you that helped Triple H. You get the dilemma. Like, you can't have it both ways. When you stick your nose where it doesn't belong, you're bound to get somebody that doesn't believe that it wasn't you who stuck your nose the second time where it didn't belong. Surprisingly, I've never done this match. Surprisingly, I've never done this match. And also, I can't not yet do longer matches because they still expect me to have deeper segments, and I don't have a problem with doing longer segments. It's just the fact that I prefer the opportunity to have shorter segments and longer. Like, I would prefer the chance to at least have longer segments. I mean, longer matches. Almana. I would prefer the opportunity to at least have longer segments. Why do I keep saying longer segments? I mean longer matches. Not longer segments. I want longer matches. No, it should be 6, not 8. Yeah, it should be 6, not 8. Mana, Devon, the Hurricane, Rosie, and Semo. Actually, for the first time, Chase Stevens is going to be in a match on an episode of Raw and win. Because the one reason why he has never been in a match on an episode of Raw and won is because, simply put, I just don't like putting, as they call it, unimportant talent in the ring together with other unimportant talent, and that's why somebody like Maven is teaming up with Billy Gunn and not on his own, because Maven is an unimportant talent, and putting two unimportant talents together outside of on the pre-show, it affects the rating. It affects the rating. We will get to that earlier segment in a second. We will get to that earlier segment in a second. Is looking for a shot, but Jericho appears to interrupt, claiming he deserves a fair chance. Which, actually, to be fair, he does deserve a fair chance at the WWE Championship, because Chris Jericho, since he dropped the belt, has not gotten a fair shake at the world title. And even when he dropped the belt, he did not get a fair shake. He has not gotten he has not gotten his rematch. He has not gotten his rematch. And is missing out on his rematch at, what's the pay-per-view? Survivor Series. He's missing out on the pay-per-view at Survivor Series, or the title shot at Survivor Series, because I'm giving it to Rob Van Dam instead, as Coach wanted a fresh challenger for Randy Orton, as opposed to a one that has been given opportunities over the course of the year. Surprisingly, though, Jericho and Michaels, I'm going to wager a guess and say Jericho and Michaels have not locked up since Jericho turned babyface, because I think Jericho turned babyface in about April or May. So I think it is very likely that Jericho has not locked up with Shawn Michaels since April or May. But Jericho will be in action tonight. Shawn Michaels will be in action next week against Chris Jericho, because there is one pay-per-view left for Raw before the end of the year, and the pay-per-view is Canadian Stampede. So it would be fitting for a Canadian like Chris Jericho to get a title shot, but that's beside the point. It would be fitting for a Canadian like Chris Jericho to get a title shot, but that's beside the point. And now we move to the continuation of the earlier segment. Dreamer and Funk challenge Damaja and Magnus to a tag match on Sunday. The reason why I'm not allowing that last segment or the top segment to go below any other segments is because I want that segment to close the show. I also expanded out the women's division to allow other women outside of Trish and Lita to get wins. Daphne, Lacey, Molly Holly, Victoria. You know something? I think we all can agree that it's nice for the spotlight to be on us for once, and not just the top two, showing that there are ways for women to be included and it not just be Trish and Lita. I am going back and forth. I am going back and forth on one thing, and that is keeping Christian as the Intercontinental Champion, as Christian won the belt back in September. But like I said in that video, the title reigns will expand out once I get to the point where I feel like it's people that I want to see as champions for a long, long time. And it's not that I don't want to see Christian as a champion for a very long time. It's just finding that happy medium. It's just finding that happy medium where this is a part of Christian's, this is a part of Christian's Open Challenge match that he put out last week. Or he issued an Open Challenge last week. And now he's going on color commentary. Because Test is going to be in action. And Test will be in action against a fellow rival, that being Jeff Hardy. Test and Jeff Hardy fought a few weeks ago. Actually, 2 months ago at this point. They seem to fight every 2 months. Here's the thing. He's been having problems with disciplinary Test has been having disciplinary problems. Test has been having disciplinary problems. And basically, I'm hesitating if I want to pull his push or not. I'm hesitating if I want to pull this push or not, because it's hard for me. It's hard for me to want to keep somebody's push going if they have disciplinary issues. Where is it? Backstage. Test has been, I think, what was it, steroid? No, painkillers. I think it was painkillers, I want to say, and I wanted to send him to rehab, but the fact of the matter is, Test is in a feud with Christian for the Intercontinental title, and I'm still tempted to give him a reign with the Intercontinental Championship. I'm still tempted to give him a reign with the Intercontinental Championship, but the only reason why I'm hesitant is because of the failed drug test. That's it. The only reason why I'm hesitant is because of the failed drug test. If he didn't fail the drug test, then it wouldn't be an issue. Legit. There would be no issue. Rashi Brown is going to end up in the developmental territory. I mean, now the only question is, do I push the segments back or go with what I was going to go with? Because I was going to have do I add more to some other segments? Because I was going to have Triple H round out the show. Yes, Hiroshi Tanahashi is here on assignment. How about this? Um, we'll push this up. I'll shorten the women's segment for a minute. It can go 6 minutes instead of 7. Seems to believe him, but Randy has a plan. And this is actually the first time that the lower guys or the lower card guys that are being used are not Jamie Noble. Now, I've been booking Jamie Noble in, well, wins the last couple of weeks and putting him on the card. I'm not saying I'm going to stop putting him on the card, because I'm not going to stop putting him on the card. I enjoy using Jamie Noble and pushing him or trying to push him. It's just that there were other people that deserve the opportunity to, other people deserve the opportunity. Okay, we're good. So the first segment opens up the show with Randy Orton basically telling Ric Flair that his friend J.J. Dillon was taken to the hospital, and that Ric Flair, he basically mentions what hospital he went to, and Ric Flair bolts from the arena. And it's, mind you, Batista's already injured. Batista was taken out at the outset of Raw last week, and it left Ric Flair and Triple H wondering who took out Dave last week. But now Ric Flair is not going to be in the arena tonight. And just remember that as the show goes on, Rob Conway gets a victory over Tommy Dreamer with help from the Damager. Rene Dupree and Luke Gallows push Dupree's feud with Road Warrior Animal. Solid segment. I mean, Triple H is the only one that was carrying it. Triple H is also stale. He needs a bit of repackaging, and he's going to get it after tonight. A little underwhelming, a little disappointing. I thought it would do a little bit better, but I guess, we can't always get perfect. The women's championship match, Trish and Lita is going to be pushed on Heat, as is the tag team title match is also going to be pushed on Heat, because the rest of the tag team division was featured on Raw. Devon Dudley needs to be reassigned too. So Devon Dudley and Triple H. I don't remember if I repackaged Matt Hardy or not. Solid segment. I remember when Chase Stevens was getting less than that, so it's good to see Chase getting a little bit better. That's why I did the match. That's why I did the segment. It sets up a match between Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels, after Survivor Series to find out who will be the next challenger for Randy Orton after Rob Van Dam. And I do realize the big hole punch of where's the angle between Rob and Randy for the WWE title shot. It's a placeholder. You know, yes, I could have had Tommy Dreamer. Okay, then. I could have scrapped it. I could have had Rob appear during this, which I didn't actually think about until right now. That would have probably made a bit more sense. But, you know, Christian wins his match with Barry Windham, then jumps on commentary, and he jumps on commentary and why can't whatever. He jumps on commentary for Test versus Jeff Hardy, and Test indirectly will blame Christian for his match against Test. Test loses. This is the first time Test lost a match, in my knowledge, or to my knowledge, in quite a while. Because, like I said, painkiller addiction, and just the question of, is it worth giving Test the opportunity to be Intercontinental Champion, or should I send him to rehab and then give him the title reign? I don't know. Chris Jericho, again, impresses this time against Skullcrusher Rashi Brown in an 83 and a match that probably could have stood alone as the main event tonight. But Triple H is in the main event tonight, and, well, apparently I need to repackage Victoria as well. Well, not repackage, just change your gimmick. As the women's division, Lacey, Molly, and Daphne all pose challenges to Victoria as, well, Trish and Lita are keeping each other busy still. Solid ending to Hiroshi Tanahashi, solid ending to Raw with Tanahashi against Triple H. I thought the match would get a little bit better, and I actually thought that this would do a little bit better, but do you remember back in the day when Raw had the announcers by the stage, and they were resting on that podium, that platform next to the stage? Do you remember when they were there? Well, Rhino jumps Triple H after the match. Mind you, Rhino is a SmackDown superstar. He jumps Triple H after the match, and does not hit the gore. He does not hit the gore. He jumps Triple H, blindsides him, brings him over to the announce table, scares away Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, tips over the announce table with Jim Ross screaming, he doesn't even work on Raw. He doesn't belong here. What the hell is Rhino doing here? This guy is out of control. Somebody needs to step in and do something. And then Rhino takes Triple H and hits the Rhino driver on the platform. He hits the Rhino driver on the platform. Which, as far as people know, the pile driver is a banned maneuver in WWE. So seeing one of the top stars get pile driven from on a platform is scary enough, and Rhino continues to show that he is out of control. And the fact of the matter is, he just took out Triple H with a pile driver on an unsecured surface. Rhino leaves, happy with his job, goes out the side door. Triple H is being attended to by the medical staff. But one person is conspicuous by his absence, and that person is Randy Orton. And we will find out why Randy wasn't there next week as he continues to try and claim his innocence and duck questions about who was that next man that helped Randy win the title. What the heck is going on, and what is this tension between Evolution? But the fact of the matter is, the one thing I can say as Triple H gets stretchered off, as we wrap up the show, we hear Jim Ross say, "Did we just see the end of Evolution?" And that's the question we have to wonder, because I'm going to tell you right now, Triple H will be off TV for the next couple of months. And sooner rather, and that was the point. This was the point. Rhino takes out Vince McMahon last week, takes out Triple H tonight. He's showing how much of a dangerous man he is, and at least I was able to record this episode, even though I missed the last one. Either way, though, I would appreciate anybody's opinion and background on what you think of what I'm doing here. I go from being that close to releasing Rhino to putting him in back-to-back closing segments, and the fact of the matter is, I don't know why the segment with Triple H, I think I ranked this on entertainment instead of acting. I think I ranked the segments with Vince McMahon on acting, and I ranked this one on entertainment, and I should have ranked it on acting. Or maybe I ranked it on I don't remember. Oh no, I ranked it on star quality. That's what I ranked it on. I ranked this one on star quality. I shouldn't have ranked it on star quality. But either way, lesson learned. But that doesn't change the fact that Rhino still just did pile drove Triple H and took out one of the top stars on the Raw brand as a SmackDown superstar. So business is going to be picking up on SmackDown this week, because what happens to the United States champion after his actions on both SmackDown and Raw, you will have to find out next time. And I will see you again soon, because this is me signing off. Until next time.